My name is Sami Laiho. I'm a Microsoft MVP in the core operating system since 2011 and a security MVP since 2024. I have been working with Windows operating systems professionally since 1995, and I've been teaching classes on IT management, security, Active Directory, anything basically related to Windows for 25 years now. Well, I have to say that I can't get enough of seeing people's faces or small nods or like light bulbs on top of people's heads when they seem to get a point or realize or learn something new. I've been teaching for 25 years and I still can't get enough of it. And of course, the kind of proximity of the place where everything got started just gives it a little bit of extra. I want people to see a real life example of how zero trust can be an enabler and not a disabler. It is the worst name in the history of IT, and I just want people to see that it's actually a very positive thing instead of the negative vibe that you get from the name. I think it should be called work securely from anywhere. In the current landscape, when it comes to security, there are no more such things as more secure internal networks, and all networks should be secured exactly the same, whether they are internal or external networks. And there's no better tool than Windows Firewall for that. So all the protections nowadays need to be based on the client and not on the edge as most currently do, or at least before did. So we have to use the tools that are available for the client. Windows Firewall is easy to use as long as you take some time to learn it. It's free, it's inbox, no external code. And if we think about privileged access workstations, then privileged access workstations are absolutely the best and easiest and cheapest concept to take down a company's attack surface. So when I'm given a chance to gather a group of people that have actually gone through tens of different cyber attacks, they actually know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. You have to understand that only around 40% of the expenses that happen because of a cyber attack, they are actually because of the ransom itself being paid. So there are a lot of things outside of that. And if you want to get a fast recovery from a cyber incident, then you want to hear what people who do this professionally actually do. There are a lot of different rules that you have to obey. You can't break a chain of evidence, for example. So there's a lot of things that you're absolutely not allowed to do. Every one of us will get ransomware. Even I got ransomware. My company got ransomware last summer. So it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. In a way, that's a simple question to be answered because I became an attendee of TechMentor back in 2006 for the first time. I became a speaker in, I think, 2012 and the chair in 2017. The reason why I kept coming back as an attendee, as a speaker, and as a chair is actually the fact that we deliver content that is applicable when you get out of the conference and go back to work. We do not accept promiseware. So we want content that the attendees can instantly use when they go back to work. That's good for them. They have things that they can actually work with and not wait for something to happen. And also, of course, anyone who's sending their teams in because they know that those are actually applicable skills that they're learning during the week. I think there's something special to be in the place where actually everything got built in the first place. I think when you have the chance to go around the campus, the new campus that has just been opened is an amazing, very modern new building, but you also have all the older history, and with all the places that Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer had their first burgers, for example. You can go for a burger joint that is just near Redmond. That's the place where these people had their first ever meetings before they, or actually Allen and Gates had their first meetings when they were building the whole company. You can see the first headquarters of Microsoft. You can see the current headquarters of Microsoft. I, at least as an IT person, I see it almost as a pilgrimage that you have to kind of do once in your life. So why not get that done as a business trip and a great learning experience at the same time? So I think that's a win-win. I would say that the first one is for me is absolutely the fact that you should bring a hoodie or something, because I'm from Finland and I should be more than equipped to handle cold. But please bring some something that you can wear with the air conditioning being on all the time. But if you go, if we think about the actual running through the conference, I would say that build your calendar, build your schedule beforehand, so you don't have to really guess where you're going next. So you have some like a concrete plan of what you're going to see. You can of course change it later if you wish. And then I would say that the opportunities for networking are the difference between this kind of an in-person event and an online event. So I would say that in an online event, you usually look at circles on your screen with initials, and it's really hard to get to know the other people. There's so much in our ecosystem currently that what I tell every one of my attendee and student always is that you can't know everything about everything. You should actually get to know people that know stuff that you don't. So there is no better setup for getting and achieving this than actually taking part in the kind of the official hour networking opportunities that we have. And also, of course, we got the lunch times, you got decent breaks to get to know people. So just use that opportunity. That is not something that you can take granted for today's online world. I think there's kind of an end game when it comes to AI. I think it's all about whether AI can actually detect AI. So we are in this constant battle between like good and evil. We're using AI for a lot of good things. It makes our jobs easier in many ways. It helps blue teamers to detect malicious activity. The unfairness of this is that criminals, of course, do not adhere to any kind of regulations or rules, which means that they will develop AI for their use as fast as possible. So I think AI is one that we will be looking at for the next few years more, at least let's say more than ever before. So that's one kind of sure thing. I always tell people that when talking about cybersecurity, you should understand that your job is not to stop the enemy. Your job is to slow it down. If you still think you can be perfect and you can stop the enemy every time, you're missing out on the most important things like monitoring, security operations centers, and XDR, EDR solutions. So I would see that in the future, we're more and more focusing on kind of combining the artificial intelligence into all the monitoring activity that should be done. So also taking hopefully down expenses when it comes to running security operations centers. But I would say monitoring AI and hopefully everyone understanding that you seem to get a lot better the more you train, or you seem to get a lot luckier the more you train, which means that we actually have to start to have exercises about the recovery as well. But I would say that it's AI monitoring and recovery. The most important skill in our industry is networking. You simply can't know everything. You have to get to know people that know things that you don't. And there is no other or no better way than coming to TechMentor for an on-site, in-person activity and get to know your peers.